What would happen if SSL declared bankruptcy? Does that mean that Usain Bolt and none of the other clients would ever get their money back? I'm Kalila Reynolds, financial journalist and educator based in Jamaica. So let's take a look. So this was the Gleaner's headline on January 26. FSC blocks SSL windup. According to the article, SSL applied to the company's Office of Jamaica for a voluntary windup on January 16, but the FSC went to court to stop that from happening. And the journalist in me was like, wait, is this the same thing as a bankruptcy? Like, how does winding up work? So I had to phone a friend to explain so that I could explain it to you. And the person I called is a corporate attorney with many, many years of experience in bankruptcy and liquidation. But because of how sensitive this whole issue is, he preferred not to go on record and not to be named. But anyway, big up yourself for the info. You know who you are. So first of all, winding up simply means that you're winding up the company's operations. You're basically shutting it down. This is not necessarily a bad thing. It could be that you're just tired of running a business and you want to be done with it. Or it could be that the business was established for a specific purpose or a specific project, and that project has now been completed. So now you're just wrapping things up. You're winding it up. Now, if the business has more assets than liabilities when it's wound up, then that would be a solvent winding up. You take whatever profits and you share it up amongst your shareholders and yourself. But you could also have an insolvent winding up, which happens when a company actually declares bankruptcy because its assets aren't enough to cover its liabilities. That's what the company owes. Now, it hasn't been specifically said, but this is the fear with SSL, especially given the concerns that have been raised about the company's solvency. Does SSL at this point in time have enough assets to pay off everybody it owes, including all the clients from whom funds were allegedly stolen? And this is where the disclosure of financial statements comes in. I spoke about that in a previous video. We don't actually know because those financial statements are not public, but that's one of the things that the temporary manager of SSL appointed by the FSC is supposed to find out. But it certainly looks pretty bad that amid this whole scandal, SSL actually applied to wind up the company. Now, if it is that this would be a winding up because of a potential bankruptcy, what would happen? Well, here's how attorney Emil Leiber explained bankruptcy to me on Money Moves JA about a year ago. And please note, he was not talking about SSL in this video. This was an old interview from last year.
Let's say your business is in trouble. The bank is about to sell your asset that you provided as security. You can file a notice with the Office of the Supervisor of Insolvency, who can then, it will then stay, meaning that it will suspend those proceedings, get your property out of auction, get you a little breathing space in order to formulate a proposal for your creditors that they may or may not accept.
So what we can take from that is that if, for example, Usain Bolt was to sue SSL for his money, but SSL had declared bankruptcy, that lawsuit would go nowhere. That lawsuit would be stayed while the company is being wound up. Now, in a bankruptcy, the company can either be liquidated or go into receivership. Liquidated means that they would basically sell off all the company's assets and then distribute them to all the people that the company owes. Now, they may not be able to recover the full amount owed, which is why Mr. Leiber said that there would be an offer made to the creditors. Doesn't mean the creditors are actually going to accept that particular offer. But often in a bankruptcy, it's almost like a take it or leave it situation. This is what they were able to get. Now, the other option is to put the company into receivership. A receiver is a temporary manager who would run the company in such a way to recover as much money as possible in order to pay off all of the creditors. And FYI, there's a pecking order for who gets paid first. Number one on that list is the government. They're going to get paid all the taxes that are owed. Then secured loans are second. If the company borrowed money from you and you have collateral, then you're high up in line to get back your money in the event of a bankruptcy. Then you also have preference shareholders and bondholders. They're also pretty high up in line. Last in line would be any unsecured loan holders, and in the case of SSL, clients who gave the company money to manage on their behalf. Now, my phone a friend did indicate that if you simply used SSL to say purchase an IPO, then you should be good. That transaction would actually be registered with the JCSD. But if SSL has funds under management for you, there's a chance that if the company declares bankruptcy, you may not get back that money or get back only a portion based on what they're able to recover from a liquidation event or a receivership. So I hope you have a better understanding of what's going on and what could potentially happen now. Leave a comment below if you have any other questions or anything else that you'd like me to find out. And of course, subscribe to my newsletter at KalilaReynolds.com/newsletter.